Oh, hey, I forgot. Well. Oh, hey. Sorry. It's just my sound screen went. So, welcome to the stream. So, we're talking about AniMat. AniMat is a Canadian YouTuber. He is, let's say, he has issues, so that's what I think. Yeah. Hang on. That was my cat at the door. So, we're back in. Today, we're talking about this, that dude. Yeah. So, last time when I react to AniMat, he is an animation reviewer. He reviews a lot of cartoons, animations, foreign cartoons, and I kind of like his content better. Yeah, I can understand that he's too very politically when he uses politics on anything. When I felt the AniMat situation, when over the years since 2016, he got fully political, like really political, you know what I mean? I'm never been surprised he get political like this. And yeah, he surely was political. So I'll show you the screen when I really going to. So warning, I'm not a political channel. Sometimes I get controversial, and yeah, I have no choice be political. I'm not gonna bash everyone. Like, I don't always bash their behavior, like I did in Harry on a Hulk video. And Ruby King says, "Yo, what's up, Ruby King?" And there he is. Soon after we, hang on a sec. When AniMat was leaked, when I, my mistake. So, let me look at the comments briefly. Nothing much, just about get this work day started. I mean, nothing much, just about get to this work day start. Okay, Ruby King. I understand. So, what's up, bruh? What's up? Okay. Before I get very controversial about this AniMat situation, hang on. So I'm back. And here's a comment from Ruby again. I actually forgot the AniMat exists. LL. What he heck do he do? What the heck do he do? Okay, I'll explain. Personally, I just bash YouTubers. I just never bashed on nobody though. I mean, I never. And I could be wrong, or comment below, and if you guys heard about the AniMat situation. And look, I'm not trying to get political. I'm trying to look the stupidity that AniMat was doing, taking his political takes, and he do the animation, movie reviews, and anything. I'm looking at this bullshit about what happened to you taking too far. Like, I'm nobody's side. So, before you guys didn't realize that I'm going to have this look at this. Well, his tweets, get very political. I just take the picture to his tweets, not one. There are some that get very political about it, and you know what I mean. And they get cringy. And let me tell you this. I am a conservative. I am a liberal conservative. But I'm still have liberal values. But first of all, when he met since 2016, he started getting so political, causing his subscribers to lip out, and others call him out with it. And some of the tweets, and you can able to read it or see. These are his tweets that, and you can probably read it. And I don't know what side on it. I can understand where you're going, but he just wanted to make awareness about what's going on, and I agree. I disagree you weren't going to on public trying to say throwing anything else in anger, leftist politics, and you just felt it's a good idea to do that. And I agree, you want the awareness. You want to do it private, you want to do donations, fine. I disagreed when you trying to start attacking people and thinking you need attention. I'll show you the tweets when he actually taken so too far. But I understand I did talk about politics. And I don't, I had to be careful when I did get political. And, I'm aware of it. So, these are the tweets that it was 2020. I don't know how political he gets to. It's not a lot political tweets he get. They're actually, get very politically. And it was just a little embarrassment to see how he gets so far about this. And I just take some of his political tweets and I don't know. He probably acting like something else. And since Biden won, and he's the only one to become a Biden supporter, and he feels like the victory is more sound. And yeah. And these are his tweets. Yeah. I just grabbed some. What's your opinion about this? I just don't feel like there's I remember the picture. While he mentioned about the conservative guy that he was a Disney fan. How he ever criticized about Disney World and he get backlash from the left and some people when Am had just say anything, and this might sound rude, but this guy looks actually like what anti-woke white privilege trash look like. In the fact, the eyes say it all. Especially you've probably seen how much he gets very politically. And there's nothing wrong. You're going to criticize someone. You want to criticize, that's fine. I'm not of your things. Sometimes I just call the bullshit out of both sides. I'm always sometimes calling out with it. What is Barmy about AniMat? When he take political criticism, he just since he mentioned Trump many times when the Boss Baby thing and the Bioshock video and everything. That you can probably look him up, look at his videos, and then you know what I mean. I would give you 5 minutes to look at his videos and look at him up. Anyway, I will still continue to scroll down. Well, that was it. Five more minutes, you will find out about his videos. I meant his political stream videos when he mentioned them. Oh, wait. Let me look in the comment sentence anyway. Let's see. Oh, there's common sense. Shouldn't say anyway. Actually, I forgot. Oh, wait, that's please. Oh, God, he acting like everyone else on the left is equally as bad, if not worse. Hello. Hello, Kevin McCaster. Nice to see you. So, how are you doing? Does he trust BLM more than the owned police? Yeah, he's a supporter of Black Lives Matter. He's a leftist person. And yeah, it's definitely true. He is a leftist person. You probably look at his tweets and his political views. You see it. What does he think of Joe Biden? He's just a supporter of Joe Biden. He's a supporter of Hillary Clinton and hey, yeah. Oh. Thanks, Dad. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he is a supporter of Joe Biden. He is a supporter of Hillary Clinton. He's a support Democratic. I never been surprised that he is a super supporter of Democrats. And I really know that he is a supporter of Democrats. So, yeah, he definitely was a Democrat supporter. So, let's get to the. Well, you get another comment there, Kevin. So he turned his hand when sleeping Joe and said something crazy and stupid. Yeah, imagine that. I imagine, fortunately. You know how Gavin he is. So, let's look at the videos and first, I really get to get a long stream about him. It's very hilarious that he was sleeping with Joe Biden, had his political views, and it's very freaking hilarious that. Yep. It's very funny to see that the guy was trying to be certain. So, wait, that first. The new Home Alone comes out today. I'm not fucking touch that movie. The new one. I rather watch the old one. Yeah, British kid out of nowhere. A good thing got disliked by Storm. Imagine that. It's freaking hilarious seeing that. Both sides gonna feel like, damn, I'm not gonna fucking touch this shit. Okay, let's get to the videos. So, there's that clip. Oh, sorry, my microphone down. Okay. Anyone can hear me? Okay. I can hear you too. First of all, I don't get a damn when I look at the AniMat views with after seeing. So yeah, it's very cringe too. Yep. And I'm not like trying to like watch anything. So let's watch it and see about it. So warning, I'm not gonna do this gone to attack someone or just attack him or either. I just showing his stupidest behavior and his personality and calling out the bullshit. And just like I'm viewing Henrietta Hulk videos, I call her bullshit because she's sad about racism, or either it's going to not detain everyone about praising it. They were call out the bullshit from it. I mean, some of them. And I'm one of them because I didn't mean to say anything, but I can understand both sides. They're both hypocrites. YouTubers were all hypocrites. I'm not saying all of them, that some of them. I mean, percent of like 60s, like 60% of them hypocrites, but I really understand that I was honest. Sometimes I was an honest person. So let's get in this AniMat stuff and run it.
Okay, now with that said, though, I don't know if I can even ask if you are ready for this episode, because I don't think anyone can be ready for what is to come with AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast for this week, because oh yeah, things are about to get crazy, but you don't know how crazy it's going to be. But either way, guys, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? So, are you all set? Are you ready for what's going to be happening? Because we can get serious, we can get silly, but either way, it really is going to get crazy. Okay, so I love the enthusiasm. I see that everyone is all set for this. And one person is like, please don't talk about this. Oh, yeah, no, we are definitely going to be talking about that. So, with all that said and done, let us now go and get things started. And just like what I have stated, unfortunately, there has been a tragedy that has happened, especially in the United States. And some people are scared and saying, please don't talk about it. Oh, no, it is unavoidable. And yes, we are talking about it as a main story. What I'm talking about this week is regarding what happened to the U.S. Capitol. Now, before I begin, however, before I really do get down into this story, I want to go and answer one question that a lot of people have been asking me, not just recently, but over the years. Something that some people even consider to be a problem with my videos and me as an internet personality. It's the big, I want to go and start things off by answering the big question, why do I talk about politics? More specifically, why do I speak about politics publicly, like on social media and even on this podcast and on my videos? Why is it that it seems like I cannot shut up about politics, despite the fact that I am a cartoon reviewer who technically should only be focusing on animation? Why is it that I even discuss about politics? Well, let me tell you why. Now, I understand that the real world sucks. Reality is crap, and it's depressing, and it's not fun at all. That's why most people, what they would do is that they would try to escape reality. They would look into a form of escapism in order to take a break from reality. Now, this can be in the form of movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, or even internet videos. But one thing that you have to accept inevitably is that the real world is the world that you are living in now. And you know that there are some serious problems in the real world that can directly affect your life personally, that can honestly affect not only your life of living, but the life of living of others that are living in this world with you. And what I have to do is just, honestly, this is going to be something that I'm going to be repeating throughout this story, is that the reason...
Hang on.
Call from Wilton Mercer.
Sorry. Sorry, it's a phone, guys. Didn't mean it. Let's continue. I know what you guys do.
Why I talk about politics is because it is the right thing to do. That sometimes you look at what is happening in the real world, you realize how this could affect the lives of not just yourself, but of others as well. And for me, I have to go and take cartoons aside. Like, honestly, there are some moments where I have to put like cartoons and talking about animation on the side to call out a serious issue that is happening in the real world. And keep in mind, I know that I am an influencer. Maybe not a big influencer, but still someone with a platform in which hundreds of people do listen to what I have to say, that do value my opinions, and that can often take my opinion seriously. So I know that I have a massive responsibility as an influencer and as someone with a platform. And I don't talk about politics because I want to talk about politics, but it is because it is the right thing to do to call out what is wrong, the problems, the evils that are in the world, so that we could address it, to make it aware, so that we can actually take action to go and fix that problem and make the real world a place that could be better to live in. That is pretty much the core reason why I do talk about politics. And especially nowadays,
When I just react to... Hang on, let me look at the comments. Let's see. Ruby? Wait, it come out today? You mean the video and AniMat? No, it was a few months ago. It's a few months ago. I just bring up the AniMat for comp is political crap anyway. And Kevin, I'm away watch it. The video. Okay. And for Ruby, when was this video? Let me show you what I mean to this. The video is... Oh, wait, that's not it. That's the wrong thing. And it's... why I talk about politics. And this is June 11, 2021. Yeah. It was a few months ago after the tragic that happened in the Capitol. It's pretty fucked up and it's messed up to see this happen. Hang on a sec. So I'm back. I'm sorry, I was checking my mother and something else. Yeah, I didn't mean to walk away. So, I live in the house with, some problems there, but so, yeah. When AniMat says why politics is important, because he was discussing the real world when his viewers were presumably young adolescents or kids who would just review his animation when he mentioned, and I could be wrong, but I don't care if you're a child or adult, you can watch anything, but when he was saying that the politics were more important for you, and reasons that why politics is important, and all through humanity, that politics, and especially, let's just say it's not very important for human beings entirely. Some of them don't want to get into some political garbage. Listen to this. I'm a conservative, and sometimes, my mother is the Biden supporter. Yeah, we get political fights when we talk about Jane Crown and the statues, but yeah, sometimes we're not perfect in our politics. But politics is not even freaking important to your mind to put your agendas, trying to help, it's a good idea. Even politics could, something that you could never, I could be wrong, but throughout history, even political stuffs were happens that, guess what? Humanity sucks, man. And it's not just always it's always traditional conservatives, or, it's only Democrats say did the Jim Crow years today. Guess what? We humans failed altogether, no matter. Just like I said earlier, yeah, I had political fights with my mom, all the Jane Crow situation and the statue situation. Yeah, I'd be careful not to abuse my own political ideals. And I'm afraid if I use these words look where we look at the BLM, Black Lives Matter. When the Black Lives Matter wants to abolish police brutality, in actuality, it gets more and more toxic to kill the Black Lives Matter people and kill the Black community and let the Black community to suffer because they just don't even fall fit into. Same thing as LGBT. you see in LGBT individuals felt like they don't felt wanted to be part of the community. You're seeing members just left out, don't want it to near them. And that's the reason they want to distance themselves. I distance myself from BLM, and because it's getting more worse and ongoing toxic, and I'm worried could cause more conflict and divide to both sides. It's not just really Black people, we're mostly people. No matter you see YouTubers go into donations and say, oh, don't say all lives matter. It's not all lives matter. We don't want to hear all lives matter. Black lives matter is more matter. And, or the Black person just mentioning about wasting the, like, I viewed Harry on a Hope video when she has gone on full on weird cringes, and this causing a lot of issues with that. And that's the reason I distance myself to the Black people, a Black community. And I really don't felt that really helped everybody. It's and how even the healing us, how even gonna heal us if we gone through all history and things get very toxic anyway. It's the same thing when you look at the Democrats and the Republicans. Since 2016 and 2020, they got very toxicity when they viewed their politics. And you felt that the Democrats were main good ones that, like Ruby Kane said in last video on the Harry on Hope video, when the white losing their power, when the left was more attention, there are most white people to have human rights there. When I realized that the left gonna become like the white-winged people, and today, and you're probably seeing white-winged YouTubers like the Corning or Pizza Gamers felt wanted to bring attention, think, we the white ones, they're the wrong ones. You know, white, it's always a white. Left, you mean you left the party from the white. I don't care about things what he said. And that's the reasons politics was risky for everyone. It's a toxicity like a drug. It's like throughout history, when after the religious people, just when Jesus says you should not bear with one stone, when you got people in medieval times using religion as toxic and stoning, you got in the future people became atheists, and they felt the atheists were white ones, like, oh, we don't need the religion out of it because we're not going to be into like these crazy religious folks like Joseph, like the Mormon Church or Joseph Witnesses or Scientology. And yes, what motherfucker, you're being toxic to yourself. And yeah, the reason that politics is toxic is people gone very extreme to harm themselves. And I was worried this could become real toxicity that happens. And so, and that's the real reasons that a lot of people just really don't magically use politics so much today. Some of them just distance themselves. You got concerns the left just distance themselves from the alt-right or the alt-left, and just like BLM members, they distance themselves from Black Lives Matter. And just like every group who want to distance themselves, because due to some social media, because it's causing divide, it's caused us to suffer self-esteem or more low and high self-esteem to ourselves. And that's the reasons I mentioned, because I be careful with my own politics when I have a drama fight with my mother, because she mentions about, other things on TV and news, like Fox News or CNN. And I always distance my mother because I have suffered self-esteem and anxiety a little bit, but I'm not like anxiety. I'm not suffered anxiety. I just felt I was excited. And yeah, politics really gonna cause more divided. Like we look at through history, how Christians in Europe wants to get rid of the Jews or Muslims and trying to make a real Christian nation where they really got the Chinese atheists butt-headed, and you got atheists trying to come there to burn down Bibles and anything. And you want to see that AniMat in his politics going to use his left politics to felt he was a white person. When know his tweets are most cringe and most odd. And there's not one carried. I don't care if you're a liberal or conservative or libertarian or others or atheist or every religious or you're LGBT. I just worry that you have to be careful what you're trying to use politics for. It will cause lots of issues. It's not just politics. They're mostly, you got feminists just felt we're always the white and where's white. Or you got trans allies felt we're always white because we need transgenders. We treat them like the same people as people. And you got them just really lead to ignore the transgenders and let transgenders endanger themselves in society. And that's the reasons that those people are doing this, because they look at social media, felt we are the only one. Social media is the attention. He or she or they are white. We need social media. It's more important. And that's the reason I don't want to diss in my politics. A reason I left BLM, I will talk about the next stream with when I went to talk about Ruby on it in my experiment. So you gotta see Brian just saying, hang on. When you get to see Brian just wanted to help the black people, and what did he do? Well, he just in office out in and yeah, he built walls and actually some of the Senate of black people felt trust in Biden, I believe. I could be wrong, but it's stupid to see seeing both sides when you got the whites will so the blame history, which is very not a case. When you got lots of pressers around the world at different groups and different backgrounds, it has nothing to do with whiteness. It has to do how these people in their religious times, they're going to get where every single one of them just felt, and that's the reasons that, well, that he was doing. He just felt it's a good idea to be a leftist person. It's a good ideal. It's the best. I will never ever go down the rabbit hole. Let's continue in this video.
When there are many subject matters that could be considered very divisive and often considered political because they do deal with very serious social issues, rather it be about human rights, about environmentalism, and about the economy, and many, many more. And sometimes, in order to understand like the world that you are focusing on, even in animation, sometimes you have to have more of an understanding of the world around you. So it's also an integral part as a cartoon reviewer or as an animation analyst to be aware of the real world and to be aware about the politics. It's not something that I could just ignore and just purely focus on one thing to specifically talk about. That's why I have to go and discuss about politics. At that point, like, I know it's the right thing to do. I don't care about who ends up getting offended. I mean, I'm a freaking cartoon reviewer. I do that on a freaking regular basis. I know that pissing off people who like Donald Trump is no different than pissing off people who like Hotel Transylvania. I know they're not the same people, of course, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, like, I know I'm going to be offending people. I know there will be those that will be unsubscribed. I don't care at that point, because calling out the problems in the world is the right thing to do. And especially what happened at the U.S. Capitol this week is the perfect example of it. Now, what is it that exactly happened? What is the story? Well, I'm going to do the best to try to summarize the whole situation. But basically, on Wednesday, that was supposed to be the day where all the House representatives and all the senators come together in order to go and analyze and confirm the Electoral College votes so that they could go and elect the new president that the people have chosen. And in the 2020 elections, they have decided that Joe Biden should be the next president of the United States. However, during that same time, for several weeks, many Trump supporters wanted to go and try to organize an entire rally, tried to organize an entire protest to go to Washington and protest at the Capitol, because they have the delusional belief of the fact that apparently in the 2020 elections, there was voter fraud. A case that there is literally no evidence. There is no such thing as voter fraud in the 2020 U.S. elections, or at least there is no such thing as any that is in favor of Joe Biden and the Democrats. Because at that point, like, there are many opportunities that they could try to go and prove it, but every single time that they think they have evidence, it has been proven false. And from there, you see senators like Republican senators like Ted Cruz and even Donald Trump himself trying to really rally up this conspiracy theory and encourage people to go to the Capitol and go after the representatives, go after the politicians in order to stop them from confirming Joe Biden and to keep Donald Trump as not just the president, but as the dictator of the United States. And of course, considering how violent these Trump supporters are, this protest immediately became violent. It just quickly turned into a massive riot. Now, I'm going to go more into this later, but the police has barely done anything to try to stop them, where they crashed into the Capitol Hill, made a massive mess out of everything, rioting, looting, and just destroying property inside the Capitol Hill in a desperate attempt to try to stop the politicians from confirming Joe Biden. And not only that, there were some that had some very dangerous tendencies. There have been a lot of Trump supporters that have been proven that they were ready to go and kidnap and keep hostages until they get what they want. And there have even been reports that there have been some bombs inside the Capitol. So basically, it has turned into a massive terrorist attack. There is no other way to describe this. This is nothing more but an entirely coordinated domestic terrorist attack fueled by the President of the United States himself, Donald Trump, along with many other Republican representatives, along many Republican pundits even. This was purely fueled by the right. And at this point, well, not the right, but this is purely fueled by Trump supporters and no one else. And the one thing that I can say right now, one of the first things that I've done when I have witnessed this, I remember on that day, I was barely even capable of work.
And you're when excuse me. And yeah, it's true. There is no floor flawed, and there's zero proof there's no floor flawed. And when he bring up Trump and Ted Cruz, and I understand they're behind this mess of violence or riots, and yeah, the Capitol riots, it's violent, it's probably more violent. And you're right about it, because everyone's a hypocrite in the situation. But I really don't know what to say this. When he went on mentioning about Republicans basically because the represented, he thinks about when, representative Republicans, they're ones that did the riot thing and all that stuff. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm a conservative like 2 years ago, but I just don't know what's going on in the situation, but sometimes that we can just continue what he was talking about. Yeah, I do agree there are no four flaws because everyone's a hypocrite. And yeah, fortunately, and people really thought it was a full fraud, but it was a conspiracy thing. It was a conspiracy theory anyway. It's just a conspiracy theory. And I do believe, for me.
Because I was just glued to the TV and just in complete shock for hours to witness this terrorist attack happening. And honestly, the first thing I've done, the first action that I took was immediately take back my apology from weeks ago. I know I've made a controversial statement, but this is pretty much living proof that Donald Trump and every single person who has supported him are the worst things that ever happened to America since the 9/11 attacks. Every single person who is pro-Trump.
And I forgot about the daycare thing about Trump when, I dismissed that before that. When I didn't know, but when he just says about this and now, like, I don't know if you're a conservative or you're not. I've felt, and yeah, he is a controversial fuck up person, and yeah, his words are bullshit. And did I ever just? Hang on a second. Hey. Hang on, what's going on? And I'm sorry, but just, jeez, I was just a little bunch of stuff that's going on out there. I'm sorry I didn't mean to leave many times because, my place, I was a busy person and, I had to check on my mother and anything else. So, let's get. And if you think that Trump is a dictator, for me, in reality, I don't think he was, well, I know he's a shitty person, but did he be a dictator allowed, like, executing everybody on site, like, shooting them, or create campsites and just, like, something on places like that? I'm pretty never pleased when he's a dictator, but we're not living like, Nazi Germany or Soviet Union or some places or like freaking Saudi Arabia or Iraq. I mean, I was in America, and there was probably he's a dictator. He would just really have his soldiers just go round up everybody or put them to execution sites and shoot them. a dictator means you control anything. Like, you have control of people like puppets, and they were born. What Trump did, what Xi Jinping did, he makes laws to ban anything, not like going ahead and allowing his supporters to kill people. And what I really don't like you trying to bring up like 9/11. I know I just said 9/11 previously on the Harry Hulk video, and yeah, I don't felt want to do that again because I just don't felt I cannot compare that. When I compare reason I said about 9/11 thing, because the paranoia that America was scoring since that time, when it was mostly a paranoia of fear of something. It's like fear of something, like you are feared that since wars happen. I don't think political division has zero to do with it. When after Trump did 9/11, there's another conspiracy thing, and it's very controversial. There's always something like Bush did 9/11 or something, and he's a Republican. And you felt that Trump did this 9/11 to go to tell Osama bin Laden, and just said like, you could go and blow up the towers, man. Get you $1 billion. Sorry, I make a bad joke, but it makes no fucking sense to me. And yeah, let's look at the comments anyway. Oh, we got a new subscriber here, Francine Wilson. Hi, all. Okay. Ruby King. And then the atheist becomes what they hate. Okay. And friend, yeah. Hey, Francine. Excuse me, Francine Wilson. Yeah, it is. Ruby King says, that's not what happened through LL. Okay. And Trump wasn't in the one at all. That's why he doesn't get impeached and the left got destroyed in Congress's LL. By Trump's lawyer LL. Oh, that's what Trump's lawyer said that? Okay, makes sense. But shouldn't matter whether you are conservative or liberal. Everyone should know the right from wrong. Bye, Francine. I know you're a liberal or conservative, but hand me your house. Trump called for a peaceful protest. The media shunned what Trump said and lied to the American people. Okay. Let's continue for fortune. Let's get this wacky headed right there anyway.
Who supports Donald Trump more than liberals, they are as bad as the terrorists who took down the World Trade Center. I am not holding back from it. I am taking back my apology, and I know this is a fact because this right here is the living proof of this. And I know at this point that there are a lot of people that might say, oh, well, technically, that's just a bad thing to say. Not all Trump supporters are bad. And like there's a lot of people that would go and try to desperately make that statement. And like some people might get offended. But at that point, I just want to go, like, for people who are offended that I called all Trump supporters terrorists, let me go and ask you something. What is it that offends you more? the fact that the U.S. Capitol got a domestic terrorist attack by Trump supporters, or my statement that Trump supporters are terrorists in response to these attacks? Which one offends you more? And if your answer is that my statement is equally or more offensive than what happened in the Capitol, then honestly, you need to go and reevaluate your priorities. Because I'll state this right now. If you're offended of me calling all Trump supporters terrorists and anti-Americans and stuff like that, then you are a lot more comfortable with what happened in the Capitol than you may think. That this is perfectly fine for you, that you're more comfortable with what happened because there are worse things. Because apparently you value the sensitive feelings of Trump supporters more so than you do with your own democracy. So at that point, I just want to state that if my statement that all Trump supporters are terrorists and that they should all be locked up is more offensive to you than what the Trump supporters have done in the Capitol, then you need to go and really reevaluate your priorities. Because honestly, that's just ridiculous. And another thing, I just want to go and make a comment, because this is something that I am still dealing with to this day. I wouldn't be surprised if in the chat wall as well, there might be a few people that would want to try to go and try to go and make that comment. Like, a lot of people have told me, like, you should stop talking about politics. Or there's even, honestly, like, while I was commenting about everything that has happened, I've had a few idiots on Twitter who would try to tell me to not only stop talking about politics, but on top of that, they are demanding me that.
And he was always going to compare the 9/11 terrorists to Trump supporters in the Capitol. And I know there are fucking terrorists out there, no matter it's black or white or either. It's terrorist means everyone has their extreme malicious beliefs and political beliefs you are don't. And why do you just compare to 9/11? Everything? Speaking of that, in the last tweet since 2020 election since Biden won, he always just says 9/11 and always says we Americans won. I cannot find his tweet. I was trying to look for it. It was 2020 election, but comment below it. I can't remember. And since America gone through 9/11 and the other places, it's gone very backlash from everyone. And that's the reasons that he's getting a lot of backlash for his leftist politics. And yeah, his political statements are bullshit. You can't compare tragedies like, can you imagine if, let's say, a white-winged person, when Trump won, when Trump won in 2020 elections, he also says, we glad Trump won, and since America gone through since the Holocaust? Fuck no. You know, funny thing in reality, I'm glad Trump's out of office, and I'm glad he wasn't fucking elected. And then seeing him go and bring up 9/11 thing, it's just very, very wrong. This fucking trying to bring out a tragedy that happened was disrespectful. Very disrespectful to saying things like this. It's just very disrespectful from everything. That's the reasons I call this bullshit with this. You can't just always call out bullshit like that. It's just make you a horrible person. Not like it. Make you an ignorant human being. Just felt that your politics matters for you. That you're always a white. that the real reasons I call out this bullshit, AniMat just don't felt like, you can't always, no, I'm not gonna apologize because, no, I can never talk about the thing because politics is important. My politics were more important. Look like you're a religious fanatic to me. A very religious fanatic. And I compared it. You felt like that. How has your mind been like this? And you're actually a Canadian citizen that Canada was a liberal nation, so you never even bring up your Canadian politics and just says, well, Canadian liberals were always good, the Canadian citizens were bad. Oh no, they're always bad conservative people in Canada. It's it. I'm gonna guess you were never taking criticism, nor you can't really take criticism in. I'm just gonna say he doesn't know about American politics when he just always trying to use his agenda. Felt like, I understand he just misunderstood what is going on. And yeah, I don't felt he's kind of something else that he was also a bar person to me. Let's continue.
I should make an alternate account so that I could only speak about politics there, and in my main platform to reserve it only about animation, and that's it. Now, at that point, like, honestly, the days of telling people to stop talking about politics, it's pretty much over. And if you are someone who tells me to stop talking about politics, or you think it is a problem that I speak about politics in my platform, then you are nothing more but ignorant, or at the very least, you are ignorant. And if you are telling me to go and make an alternate account so that I can reserve all my political thoughts or non-animation thoughts there, then you're trying to desperately...
Okay. Look, if they really love your animation channel, fine. If they don't want to hear your politics, they don't want to hear that. The real reasons they don't want to hear that, some of them were because how politically messed up you were. Because you know they don't want to get involved with the political situations. They just felt the politics just is a very toxic place. Because you felt calling them ignorant. And anything. Can you imagine if I did that, like, on our stream? It's like, why you talk about politics and one thing? Oh, because you're an ignorant person. No. Of course not. Of course not. I'll go explain about whenever I would want. If I want to talk about my politics, I'll talk positively, and I'll explain why I talk about them. And they don't want to hear my politics, and they can go into somewhere else. It's fine. It's not like they're fucking white-winged, ignorant, privileged people or white supremacists. They just don't want to hear the bullshit from your other channel. That's why I called you out for this. It's sickening to saying anything like, because you're ignorant because you don't, and if you don't want to talk about politics, you're ignorant. It's like a Saint religious fanatic just comes to the atheist. Oh, you don't believe God or Jesus? You're going to hell. And you're gay, you're going to hell. And that's one of the reasons that you are not an ignorant person. You are ignorant because you are. Let's look at this crap anyway.
Justify your ignorance, to really go and try to find an excuse so that you could just go and completely ignore what I say, only focus on what I have to say in animation, and really justify ignoring like everything that is happening in the world. Like one of these idiots that tried to call me out and demand me to make an alternate account is someone who, I kid you not, is a 15-year-old who admitted did not care what has even happened in the freaking Capitol. Like, are you kidding me? Because I'm just going to say right now, if you are someone who tells others to stop talking about politics, then you are ignorant. And worst of all, it makes you complicit. It makes you complicit of the white supremacy that has happened in the Capitol. It really does, because you're trying to silence the people who are trying to call out. You're perfectly okay because it's not affecting you directly. You are more focused and you only care more about your self-centered first world privileges and just want to keep it at that. And you're most likely white as well, or most likely a Trump supporter, so this doesn't even affect you directly. So you don't care. You don't care. You're just desperate to try to silence people.
I can't believe this guy was getting so much hate. AniMat, his politics gets so many hate, thinking that someone else don't want to hear you and accuse him being a white supremacist or a privileged person or a Trump supporter, because it's like if I just said, why you talk about your politics and your conservative politics, and I would accuse them for being, oh, you're ignorant because you're a leftist and you are always bias supporter. You have your, well, anti-whiteness. I can't believe I've never seen this guy going fully politically messed up. Accusing someone to be a white supremacist or a Trump supporter, and they were, who the fuck cares? Focus on your fucking content and don't fucking talk to those people. And she was not white. I don't fucking care. And especially in the Capitol riots, think they're all just white privileged men were there. And guess what else riots? Black people, Latinos, LGBT, women, feminists. They're also freaking diverse conservatives and anti-SJWs online. Well, we're freaking surprised. If you look at how they react to Capitol riots, they've been disgusted and called their bullshit as well. There's some sense of them just don't agree with the tragedy that's going on in the Capitol riots, because you will look at it was always just white men or always, white privilege or all of it. Why? There are a lot of messed up people when it's about, like, you never seen that you think that white supremacy is always about Christians or males, mate. Oh no. There's some more Jewish. It comes from Ben Supreno. I've probably pronounced his last name. Who's the Jewish conservatives? They're just Jewish people. And there's also Muslim people, I'm thinking. And there's also black people. Especially Candace Owens. I freaking disagree with her bullshit. And look at yourself this time. You're just trying to be fanatically embarrass your own self, your own subscriber base, and freaking everyone. Let's look at the comments here. Let's see. His statement is more offensive than what happened in the Capitol. LL. Yeah. What is his AO like to dislike ratio? making an alternate account is not a bad idea. Like, seriously, it was good advice while fans attack for this bullshit. Yes. My cat's out there. And yeah, Ruby Kane. This guy has some real mental issues. Let's take a chip. And eat it. You also know lesions in the cat. Oh, there are also Asian conservatives in the Capitol, I'm guessing. I don't know. And there's freaking every diverse conservative. Then the left has diverse people. And I've never been surprised you get remotely ratio back. Let's look at the ratio I mentioned. There's the dislikes in here, like there. There it is. Ruby. Yeah. Being surprised about that. That's weird.
Because of your first world privileges, and so you can justify your ignorance. And this is why being ignorant is wrong. And this is why not only should we call out these Trump supporters, we should also go and call out these ignorant people. We need to call out all those who say, stop talking about politics, or keep commanding others to say, oh, you have no right to say anything about politics, so you should keep your mouth shut about politics, or say it somewhere else where I can't see it. Like, no, this is not the time. Like, if you don't care about politics, then why do you care so much about telling others to not speak about politics? Seriously. This should be this is something that should be punished. And also, one thing that I want to go back into this, like one thing that really is problematic, like one major reason, I think, like everybody has stated this, but one major reason why it really went this bad, and it really is a massive statement about all Trump supporters, is with the police and how they have handled it. Because one massive thing that caused all this, that caused all the rioting, that caused all the looting within the Capitol and the property damage that has done, is because the police has barely done jack shit on this. They've barely done anything to try to go and stop it. In fact, there have been tons of evidence that has proven that most police in there, they were actually very welcoming to Trump supporters to go and let them do whatever they want. I'm not going to say that all of them are the case. There are some that did actually do their job to try to stop these Trump supporters. And unfortunately, there was a casualty where there was one police officer that died in the hands of the violent Trump supporters. So may that police officer rest in peace. And honestly, it's just ridiculous seeing how, like, not only...
Well, I agree because there are ignorance from both sides. It was not always freaking conservatives. They're fucking ignorance. Like, you got, like, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens were ignorant. Like, free BLM foreigners were ignorant. And every person's an ignorant person. I can disagree with their political views if they're messed up with me. I'm not saying they're messed up people. There are a lot of messed up people around the world. And saying being from behind the policing thing, I don't think that, I could be wrong. I just don't know that the Republicans were behind the police thing or not. I found policing always do with both sides of the government, like conservative and liberal parties. protecting the citizens. I know since after the incident, what happened 2020, that's because there are changes and that, it is not always freaking United States of America. There's a lot of countries that really have policing issue. Is the police brutality issue? Yeah. Is the race issue? No. It's classism? Yeah. Yeah, classism existed. Trust me. There's a lot of things, and it's nothing to do with skin color or race. When you look at the body footage of the Floyd incident, there's an Asian person, a black person, and I don't see it as mostly. And this makes a lot of sense because there's a race issue. Like, you got a white cop just like, white power with and one is a blog poster said that. I mean, do your research in it. I don't think there's still a case. I mean, I could be wrong. Tell me in the comments below, but it's confusing. But I don't think it has to do with, racism or white supremacy. It has to do with police brutality and classism. And yeah, and you're right, because the conservatives behind it just want to be privileged or anything. And trust me, there's migrants, but not all of them would not like being like something. Some others just want to move their own lives and just want to have their own problems go away. And they don't have to hear the police issue. Fine. And this is a police issue, making it like a little bit of sense. Not all time and all day. It is not even the case. This is mainly you guys are in housings and every place have back in the black community. I really think these topical issues need to talk so much and separate. Instead, separate every politics to fact. Separate politics to facts. This makes more sense to you. That was Ken doing.
That the police officers barely did jack all, but also like they were taking selfies with the Trump supporters. They were helping them out to just go in. That like they were giving them their own riot gear to help them out to invade the Capitol Hill. But they did jack all. Now I just want to go and state this. I am someone who does not believe in defunding the police. Defunding the police is not a great idea, but I definitely do believe in reforming the police, absolutely, because there is a white supremacy problem that is within the police force that is causing this massive systemic racism. In fact, over here, I think there should not be allowed any right.
And I agree. We need to reform the police and their behaviors. I really dislike. I don't know, it has to do with white supremacy or either, but there's not really police not doing target black people. There have been cases of Latino person or white person. Okay, I'm gonna get controversial and warning if you are interested, just really talkly. I was making it as a fact. And when I was researching and there being injustices, and there are mostly cases of white people get killed in the custody, were higher than the people of color in custody, or either race. That's a fact, people. I could be wrong, but I just really disagree with me, but it's a fact. When this incident just happens, a body footage of a white person, I forget what his name is, he was being, let's say he was strangled to death. Similar to a Floyd incident. It happens like, I don't know what year it is, and you don't see, no one don't complain what happened. For a Floyd incident, it ain't nothing new, but I don't know about the guy, but I understand it's tragically sad for people, but it did not affect me so much. I understand there's systemic racism existed in our world. It's not just blacks. There are mostly a lot of people who experience systemic racism and injustices, and I can understand that you're going from. And yeah, there were more vice presidents who were there just counting blacks and whites, and I can understand. Let's read it.
Wing police officer ever. Because honestly, they are mentally incapable of being a police officer and actually trying to do their job. But after what happened in the Capitol, oh man, does it really justify that argument of defunding the police? Because if all the police...
Look, AniMat, I just don't want to defund the police, and I agree there's supposed to be a reform, and I disagree that you want to ban the conservative police. I'm not support it. Like, there are conservative blacks there in the police station. There are a lot of diverse people, like conservative Asians or conservative whites. I don't care what race, what political party they were, as long as they're not messed up or either. And there are also good conservative people who are not fucking ignorant and messed up or white. So, yeah. And that was freaking ignorant, just seeing these white-winged people just do anything they wanted. But I support good conservative people, not like messed up ones. I support every person and I treat them respectfully, not to look at their political parties. And there was a famous support the conservative party person. I'm not bothered by it. And there's something more bothered. If there are more research history of police stations you had to research in or documentary on, there's documentaries about it. I think you never look at the documentary. You're just following your agendas and you're just very embarrassment to me, unfortunately. And yeah, there's white supremacists out there, I believe. And yeah, there's more white people. It's not just Americans. There are fortunately white people everywhere. But not all white people are messed up mentally, stable. I can understand when. If I really talk to a former KKK member, if I question if we can have a conversation, and yeah, we can have a single conversation. Instead, I can agree with myself that we both mess up with both sides. We've been brainwashed, we've been mentally hammered, we've been self-esteem from both sides, left and right. And yeah, I do agree there should be reforms on the police and the justices going on. And yeah, there are corrupt police out there. And there's not just in America, there's most corrupt people around the world, especially in Russia, just attacking the LGBT people. There are corrupt corrupt police around the world. And yeah, I do agree. It should be a reform for corrupt police. Yeah, it should be a reform. And I agree with you, AniMat.
Because if all the police is going to be doing is just defending white supremacy, then actually doing their job then to defend the people, then the police is pretty much worthless. Honestly, all police officers should lose their jobs and be unemployable at this point if all they're going to do is just defend white supremacy instead of defending real American values. And the reason why I do state that this really is caused by racism is if you compare to how the police reacted towards the Black Lives Matter protesters and how they reacted here. Because when it was all about Black Lives Matter, when the cause is...
I don't really think that saying the case about the... Oh, wait, scratch that. And a white person, defend the white supremacy, they're very a fuck up dick. And frankly, and there's most, I don't think all police officers, the good ones at least, good ones, who would ever defend white supremacists or saying white nationalism or either. They're mostly the first people, and they were just wanting to live their point. And I just point out that all the police are on point that while they, and you were just saying that all the police officers are on point. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I misunderstood, but honestly, let me look at my comment sentence anyway. Ruby Kane, he's warned about the police giving out white gear. Okay. Oh, it's just you, Ruby, so. Unless we. Oh. Let's put this one.
To fight against police brutality, to call out police brutality, and to fight for equal rights among all races. And when it's fighting for the rights of black people, that's when suddenly they go all out. They don't hesitate. That's when they go and really beat up people, and when they throw out tear gas and everything. Like when it's about people of color, they go all out. And yet here, they barely did jack all. They barely did anything. And again, it really does justify not only that maybe defunding the police might actually be a good idea, but also that there should not be any right-wing police officer. There should, like, those...
I thought you would say you're not in the defund the police thing, but what do you mean you want to ban conservative police officers? Well, I understand they have, their issues, but not all of them would have some problems. There are some of them respect you, but yeah, they were corrupted, but yeah. And there's some fucked up people on both sides. It's not just right-wing people, there are left-wing people who are corrupt police too. And yeah, you've never been surprised you want to say the right-wing people are the only ones to be messed up and trying to sound like, hey there, we don't want to ban the left right-wing people, they're the only ones. Why does the left-wing person going to corrupt and killing a black person? A left-wing police officer and justify the black person. And guess what? It's not just everyone in the political spectrum. There's some others who are apolitical police themselves. Look, I understand. What? Guess what? Let me tell you this. America's privilege has nothing to do with, race. America is freaking privileged because you look in other countries, and especially you look at other countries, especially around the world, there are firstly bunch of sex slavery, including brides, little girls around Middle East, that the liberals and even Biden was privileged here. Guess what? It's called American privilege. And you live in America, live in American privilege. And you don't see people going to say anything what about the Middle Eastern young women and girls were being, sexually abused by old men. And they never talk about it in Pride here. They want to think about the corruption of the police and say anything. And we are the poorest nation. it's not just America. Every country has privilege. In Japan is privilege because while Koreans in Japan getting harassed and being hate crime on and being scapegoated a lot, and they all get murdered. You don't see a Japanese person, don't say anything. And look around Africa, LGBT people get lynched, murdered, and hanged every single day. African people don't talk about gay rights. And guess what? Africans are additional white-winged and privileged people. Like the West is. A funny thing is that Black Lives Matter, and especially have privilege, ignore the homophobia in the Black community and sexist and freaking systemic racism in the Black communities as well. We all were privileged. You have never been surprised we mentioned the Harry Hana Hope video? When I mentioned because, civil rights activists were homophobic because they carried those conservative ideals. Not like religiously. They only want racism to end and have respect. And you never met a civil rights person how he felt about the LGBT community. He or she probably don't respect them, then why get the hell out of them? Get their children or grandchildren out between being gay or transgender. We African Americans have privilege. Has nothing to do with white privilege. We are a privileged nation because every class, every race, every culture, every group was privileged. No one ever spoke out about homophobia in the Black community or sexism and everything that's going on there. The same thing with these liberals. They don't want to talk about the gays in the Middle East, Africa. They don't want to talk about the justice of women's rights in the Middle East and Africa and our countries. All they just want to be privileged, to live in a nation with very privileged. All Muslims are LGBT friendly, that all the Black people were always oppressed. We will have to help them. For you, AniMat, trying to think you want to call out the white-wing people as shit. The left has their own values. Let me tell you. Do you know the Jim Crow era? The Democrats, who comes down the South, who we have it, who did all the racism and Jim Crow and homophobia, because the Democrats were liberals who accepted this shit. They have their conservative mindset. And especially Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and every time you see the Underground Railroad, the white Republicans freed the slaves, some of them. They're fortunately well then. Guess what? That's the reason that Black people carry their conservative values. And there are conservative women's rights. There are every conservative everywhere. And yes, mostly surprise from you. And you only think that the white-wing people are only ones oppressing women and the Black people? You are being a privileged, ignorant person to ignore those stuffs. And look at you. You are a naked person you don't want to talk to. And that's the reason people unsubscribe your channel, and they look at half of your channels so you are gone political, adding Trump and anything, and they decide don't want to go there anyway. surprised that both political parties were bullshit and never become bullshit today. And that's the reasons that politics turns to religion, and now you're becoming like a religious fanatic. The reason you're a religious fanatic because you don't even care about the people who have gone through the injustices or either. You just don't even want to talk to a person. And that's the reasons I don't talk to you someone. Now let's look at the comments. Continue this.
Should be completely banned because they have a mental disorder that would not let them actually go and do their job. So that's one thing that I just want to state about the police. Again, I don't believe in defunding the police, but this is a very solid argument why there should be. But again, there needs to be a massive reform in the police force, like entirely. Like that's almost like a national emergency. And probably a worldwide emergency where other police forces should actually go and take note and like try to eliminate some of their own white supremacy from within. And really, all this has pretty much proven one thing, that yes, all Trump supporters at this point, this is very, they are all terrorists. And the thing is that if you really think the true horror of it all, it really is because of a conspiracy theory that they believe in something that is not real. And that time and time again, there has never been a single piece of proof about voter fraud, apparently. And it really showed. And by the way, also, wait, time out. Actually, there's also one thing that I do want to state regarding Black Lives Matter. Because the thing is that it really goes to show the massive hypocrisy of Trump supporters. Because the thing is that they always desperately try to antagonize Black Lives Matter as just, these guys, they're rioters, they're causing violence, they're just looting. And yet here they are doing the exact same thing that they claim that all Black Lives Matter people do, and they do it even worse because it's at the U.S. Capitol. And this really shows why every single person who supports Donald Trump is a white supremacist. They are all racist. Because the thing is, they don't care about cops. Because those who actually do their jobs, they fight back. Trump supporters have actually killed a cop because the thing is, they hate Black Lives Matter because they hate black people. They want to keep people of color underneath white people. So honestly, any arguments about Black Lives Matter and Antifa, now that is all invalid. Okay, that it's just completely null and void because this is the perfect proof of how all Trump supporters believe. Because this is fueled with the same kind of mentality that every single one has, not just the ones in the U.S. Capitol, but even the ones that are not.
One. In the Capitol, they're diverse people. And also surprising, even Trump supporters calling BLM like rioters. Even the leftist people see the riots and the costing of Black Lives Matter everywhere to say, look at places when they accidentally did the exact same as a Capitol. If you would actually look at the chart of both sides, you what? I'm going to heavily disagree with you in saying that they're all terrorists. And yeah, there are some of them, but not all of them. Not all Trump supporters were white or white supremacists or straight or being male or either. They're mostly the first people weren't in his party. Surprisingly, where white a trans woman fully was a Trump supporter. You have never been surprised? There are trans people in the parties? Are you never just don't want to talk about it. And that's the reason you will become ignorant anyway. And that's the whole reasons that no one don't want to come in your political channel.
There as well. The millions of Trump supporters that have that same belief, that actually do believe in those conspiracy theories instead of actually looking into the truth. And also, there is another thing that I want to mention is regarding the whole Antifa thing. Because time and time again, whenever these things happen, whenever you see a Trump-supporting terrorist attack happen, they always find a way to try to pin the blame to the left. That's the common thing that Trump supporters have done. Blame it on Antifa, blame it on Democrats, blame it on the left, and all that crap. But it's mainly always portraying Antifa as this great evil. And yet, this is the living proof that it is a complete lie. There is no such thing as Antifa being the evil of America. Antifa, this is pretty much living proof that there is actually no shred
Oh, wait, I paused by accident.
of evidence that Antifa is more violent than anyone who is in the right. Who is any, like the Antifa is not as violent as any conservative out there. Because the thing is, Antifa has always been used as a desperate excuse where even though they don't have a single shred of evidence, the conservatives always pin the blame on Antifa whenever they commit a crime so that they could go and get away with it so that it could be labeled as political and no one would do a single damn thing about it. And let me tell you this. Antifa is not a group of people, okay? It's not in the same league as like the Proud Boys or QAnon or anything like that. Antifa is just a term that is just shortened to say anti-fascist, people who are against fascism. So literally, anyone who opposes Antifa, who think Antifa are the bad guys, are people who support fascism. This is why people state again and again that all Trump supporters are Nazis. This is why this is actually a state.
I don't really think that Antifa was not violently more violent. Let me look at it. Let's look at it. My computer is slowing down, so. Comments below. Let's see. And Antifa protests. Wait, how do you spell Antifa? Hey, Ruby, can you spell Antifa in the comments below? Jeez, I need help. Antifa. Antifa.
Radisson Hotels America.
Oh, let me look this out. Hey, this one.
Radisson Hotels Americas puts service members first.
It's 2021. Yeah, I don't follow to that YouTube going felt like. You know, like, never that. What the fuck that guy hold the middle finger at it? This is an Antifa or the police. Oh yeah, this is Antifa. Oh, some of them have baseball bats. Okay. Okay. Those motherfuckers, one of them have gear. So, well, I've never been surprised that one of them had gear. The same thing that those wires in the Capitol. And there's a little more something else. That the Antifa thing that you felt that suddenly had mostly non-violent or something than the Capitol riots, I think. What the fuck is this woman or something like that? Or a trans woman, I don't know. Wait, what is this? Wait. Antifa in Portland protest of Biden. Wait! And those motherfuckers for Biden just wicked that Biden anyway. Wait. What is this? What the fuck those motherfuckers just walk in? You know what? I'm about to put this video in. I'm about to go in the restroom a sec. Anyway, I had to go in the restroom, so your facts there. So I'll put on this video and seeing what Portlanders think about, you know.
But no, by all means, go ahead. Skip the ad.
I'll put this video for 3 minutes. I'll be back in 3 minutes from my restroom. So.
Hey there, folks. It's Jim Ryan from the Oregonian and Oregon Live, and I am here in Portland's downtown Tom McCall Waterfront Park, which is going to be the site of what seems like it's shaping up to be a major political protest that's going to draw 1,000 or more people to downtown Portland. We're going to go around downtown today and ask some people if they're aware of the protest, and if so, what they think about it.
I've heard of protests recently in Portland. I have not heard of this one, and I'm glad that I'm not going to be here. It attracts extremes from both sides.
I don't know anything about that. I live in Vancouver. I stay away from this stuff.
Oh, isn't that what's about to happen in the National Guard's supposed to be coming in? Not getting paid to fight, so I mean, they're definitely not getting paid to get hit by police. So I mean, no, I'm not gonna go.
From what I gather, it's the usual suspects, the Patriot Prayer and Proud Boys that come into town to cleanse the street of Portland, and Antifa will meet them, and there'll be violence in the streets, and same old.
What is the best French toast for a riot?
It'd probably be the hot mess. It's got sausage, maple glazed bacon, eggs, carb load before you go fight in the streets.
I have a lot of friends who are part of the Antifa who go to these protests. I personally don't really go to them, but I do support the left. Well, last time I got to a fight, so I try to stay away from stuff that gets violent.
I think that the news, honestly, all due respect, it kind of hypes it up a little bit. And I think the people in the street are more rational when you talk to them directly, and you just get their perspective. But then when it becomes a collective group thing, and they know they're on television, sometimes they act out a little more than they normally would.
Unfortunately, that's kind of like, I think, obscures what most of the protests are about, which are just freedom of expression. So I think that this is the unfortunate thing is you have a very small segment of kind of like civil engagement culture that is now really kind of focused on violence and just kind of spectacle.
Back in my younger days, so was me with civil rights movement, Vietnam War, that type of thing. I was in the streets all the time. Yeah.
Would you consider coming to a protest now, downtown?
That's somebody else's turn.
One of the Proud Boys? To me, probably, yeah, a little extreme fellas. Didn't get enough hugs as youngsters.
Can you define what Antifa is?
Radical, like, I guess, liberal-leaning group that associates with, like, using, like, more aggressive methods to, like, get a political ideology across.
Would either of you guys ever come to a kind of a big dueling demonstration downtown?
I don't know. If it was something I really had a really strong opinion about and cared about, but I don't know. A lot of times, my mom always will tell me like, "Oh, those protests are dangerous." So a lot of times, I'm like, I don't know if I would.
And yes, this is an ad, but trust me that this really works for me. Wow. To be the baddest, you gotta glow like the baddest. Look at me before Qology, girl. What was I even thinking? I wasn't. Now I'm doing the most for my skin with one custom bottle. Don't you dare spend more than $1 a day on skincare. You spend that cash on all the things you love. Like the baddie you are. That's how you play the game. It's got customized. And my urology, girl, she sees every side of me.
Wait, what the dude?
If you want to glow up like me,
what is this? Oh man. Hey guys. I'm sorry I totally put you in this woke torture trailer. I told you I'm back in 3 minutes, so. Oh, my bad. So as you fall in the park with about freaking Artifa crap. And I forgot your comments, guys. Let me look. So, oh, William Walker is in it. Let's look at the movie. Let's see. Funny how AniMat is calling who don't agree with him and Nick DeWint when he legitimately says how Nick DeWint is bullshit. Antifa is anti-fascist, yes, but they have done some horrible things that makes them just violent as any other violent group, such as beating a gay man with the bike chain. Really? Are we really beat the gay guy in the bike chain? There's one. Antifa. Yeah, I got a movie. You know what? And if I am not mistaken, a dude who called himself a part of Antifa possibly attacked the YouTuber The Corning. So yeah, Antifa is a violent fascist group. AniMat was a good YouTuber in the early 2000s, but he's definitely declined but he's definitely declined in Corning over the past 4 to 5 years. Okay. I'm not surprised at a song like when you call yourself intuit and racist that wouldn't treat to make you less sub. Yeah, it's true. Atiba beats a gay guy in the bike chain. Let me look at that video. I think roughly 4 points. I think actually attack. Hey, man. I'm fine. Atiba responsible for LTP whites. Let me see. Wait, I know that journalist. Oh, it got really downvoted there. Let me look up who's first. I mean, he's an Asian conservative, I guess. He is Asian conservative? Or he's half Asian. I don't know. Oh, he is an Asian conservative. Yeah. Let me look up his history. Sauce of 2019. Oh yeah, he is actually a gay wire. Huh. Yeah. I've been surprised seeing that you got this diverse person who was ghastly beat up by Antifa because he's an Asian gay person and got his butt being whooped there. Let's see if it did. Never surprised. Yeah, YouTube was about to monetize this. I had to put on Spirit, I will get demonetized. Yeah, gone drop here. I just don't. Wait, why is Vos? I'm never surprised about that. No, who cares? Oh. What? Oh, graphic language. I was going to be violent. Well, I had to mute this because anyway, on YouTube got monetized for seeing the beatings and the violence. It's funny how much he uses that graphic language, violence. Then they haven't ever realized they had to put, well, something. Yeah, I'm never surprised about that. I don't know how it keeps frozen. Huh. Oh, finally. I'll go through there. Is that Amy or something on the back, I guess? Wait, he's in the bag chain? Oh no. I don't think he's in a bike chain. Or he's going to bike chain. Oh, yeah, I go out here. Doing this shit. I never been surprised. Seeing that Asian conservative guy attack and seeing the whole shit happens. Oh, let's get to AniMat. I can't even get the Tifa thing anyway. So yeah. So you're telling me that Tifa is really telling them that they were fighting white supremacy when you got an Asian gay guy who was actually not a white person, who really support all white parties or white-wing parties, I don't know, and got his butt beaten by a Tifa, call him names, and really just being attacked. Dumbass.
Stated fact, because we keep on repeating what that means. I think we are at the point where everybody knows what Antifa means now. And if you're against, the thing is, are you against fascism? Then that means you're anti-fascist. You are Antifa as well. But if you're not, but if you think Antifa is purely evil, then you are a fascist. You are an enemy of the people. You are an enemy of your own country, and you must be taken down. And that's the big takeaway of.
If you were telling that Antifa, like, they're good guys, or they're not always violent. Surprisingly, you're telling them, like, let me show you. You're talking about trans whites, right? since Dave Chappelle's controversial jokes about transgenders. Well, where's that? I'm going to find the tweet there. I always saved that tweet. This guy's just getting my fucking nerves so much. Yeah. Oh. See. Here it is. And in fact, if people truly do believe that cancel culture is a serious issue that people shouldn't worry about, how about we start talking by taking down cancel culture that's trying to attack trans whites? Well, if Antifa, especially Dave Chappelle, Flynn, do you remember Daphne Dorman, who was being attacked online by Antifa, I'm assuming, take her online trying to defend Dave Chappelle, and she called against cancel culture, I guess? How about talking to transgenders, how they felt being self-esteem because people don't want to talk or bother them, and how they gone through a lot of times, and for you, think that the white is the enemy of the nation, that these people are the enemy of the nation, that you're the only one trying to think Antifa is not that violent. Just like the freaking walkout that 100 people are there, not thousands, who are finally harassed, screaming, and saying slurs and racial slurs, presumably at the people at the Netflix walkout. That AniMat guy needs fucking help with something else.
Of all this. This is the big takeaway. There are no such thing as good Trump supporters. All of them are evil. All of them are like this. All of them think this way. And the only way that we can go and actually heal from this, if we truly want to learn from this actual lesson, then we have to do like how Germany has responded to the Nazis after World War II. We need to go and full-on ban their ideology. We must ban Trumpism and nationalism together. I'm not saying to fully ban conservatism altogether, because I know there are a few good conservatives, but they are only the ones who are against Trump. But the thing is, we must ban this far-right extremism. Ban all forms of it. We must ban Trumpism, nationalism, the Confederacy, white supremacy. All these things need to be labeled as terrorism, and they need to be immediately struck down, just like how the police have treated Black Lives Matter protesters. And I know there are going to be people out there that are going to say, oh, but freedom of speech, though. That's my freedom of speech. No. Hate speech does not constitute as freedom of speech. It needs to be criminalized. And I know that right now that we are seeing more and more of these social media sites actually doing something that they should have done years ago, and actually not only ban Trump, but also ban any of these like far-right extremists out there. Like, I know they also banned the quartering. Well, Twitter has banned the quartering. I don't know if they've done it on YouTube, but again, like, honestly, this is something they should have done years ago, and websites like Facebook and Twitter should be held accountable for encouraging terrorist activity, but also YouTube should especially be the website that should really go hard on these Trump supporters and really put a permanent ban on nationalism and on Trumpism, so that all these accounts should be terminated. Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, The Quartering, Tommy Lauren, Alex Jones, and many more need to be silenced, need to be taken down, and need to be criminalized. All these Trump supporters, yes, even supporting Donald Trump should be considered illegal. It should be viewed in the exact same way as people unironically supporting Hitler, where they all deserve to go to prison.
I really felt you think, what about the riots, and what about what happens to David Dorman, and what about to have the riots are accountable, and no one did time that what happened to no one ever mentioned about Dorman and Dave Dorman, a black police officer who was murdered by a rioter, and you really never mentioned you want to ban nationalism when leftists have nationalist beliefs and something else, and you never even know about American politics. And if you never mentioned the West, the conservative groups you've never been, no one ever mentioned Laura Chan. I mean, she's a Canadian, and I know that. Or Candace Owens or Ader, and the first people. And we taking white YouTubers. So you take white YouTubers. Even for Ben Shapiro's a Jewish guy. Surprise, surprise. You don't care about Jewish people. You mentioned about Nazi Germany had to, Hitler just commit thousands of 6 million of people that were Jews. And Ben Shapiro was one. He's Jewish himself. Funny. And you never notice that you want to get rid of the conservatism. I'm really going to find your fucking comment there. And here it is. In effect, the only thing he ever done in his life is damage the revision of right-wing ideologies to the point that his legacy is an example of why countries like the U.S. are better off without today's conservatism. Let me tell you about this. Conservatism really existed. If you go in here... Oh, wait, there's a comment there. Yep. Look it up, Andy Nuttall. He was the guy attacked by Antifa. Yeah, I read it online. So he asked me, trying to ban conservatism would be better off. I mean, guess what? Unfortunately, I mentioned conservatism has existed. It's not always the conservative ideals, not just Western civilization. Conservatism is an ideal that every race and carry those additional values that you don't even freaking think that every time you never felt that terrorism compared to what? Guess what? ISIS is a conservative right-wing terrorist. And they support nationalist beliefs that they're throwing gay people out the buildings. And you really imagine you want to go out there and says, what's been conservative Islam beliefs? Guess what? You get killed, beheaded over there. And you would say there's no such thing as good Trump supporters? Let me ask you this. There have been YouTubers who are mostly liberal YouTubers, have neighbors who are Trump supporters, who are especially different races, but also nice people. And look at you. You don't believe there are no good human beings around the world. You believe the ignorancy that was going on. All you just care about yourself, and you don't care about the communities. You don't care about individuals. All you care about is a sick mess of nature of white liberalism. That's the reason that people don't want to touch on you. How many subscribers you got here? 6 points. 6.66K subscribers. Wow. I bet they weren't going to unsubscribe you in the future. And that's the reasons that I call you out on this bullshit. Even just reasons that people want to keep their politics privacy. I know I just talk about my politics, but... And you know what's going to happen if you take so far? You're going to cause real divide of your family members. Your relatives. And everyone else think they have a different opinion than you are. Go to the Middle East, seeing women were being beaten and being killed and forced marriage. I remember you review Brandwinder. And there's a good aspect of analysis. There have been true cases in Afghanistan today that women were being forced to marriage. Ruby King made a stream what happens in Afghanistan when a young girl forced to marry a man. No one never called him out. No one never saved this girl. And why you hearing those apologies? Not in the freaking on the Republican sides. And you would just notice that Afghanistan will be taken over by the Tibet. Taliban. Yeah, Taliban. Oh, here's how we get demonetized anyway. Wait, is that it? Yeah, wait. November 10th, 2 days ago. No, I don't want. Where's the video? Oh, he's going.
We are nearly 3 months into the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, and the list of human rights violations against Afghan women is growing. The Taliban have tried to reassure the world they respect human rights, but the Human Rights Watch says so far women have been denied the right to work and a secondary education, and there are also reports of widespread harassment by the Taliban for women not being accompanied by a male family member or for not wearing clothing deemed modest. To talk more about this, I'd like to bring in Heather Barr from Human Rights Watch. Hi, Heather. Thanks for joining us. So as more rights are rolled back, what are the larger concerns for the safety of Afghan women and girls?
So the situation there is incredibly grim for women and girls. You've talked about the harassment that's happening. Taliban in many places are enforcing a rule that women shouldn't be outside their homes without a male family member escorting them. So that in itself really takes away the right to education, the right to work. Even if your school is open or you're allowed to go to work, if you haven't got a male family member who can take you everywhere, you're essentially a prisoner in your own home. And there are many other ways in which they've also dismantled women's rights, abolishing the Ministry of Women's Affairs, abolishing and banning women's sports, dismantling a whole system that was set up to deal with gender-based violence.
So does it appear then now very clear that everything that they said at the outset about preserving some of these new gains for Afghan women, that was all just, for naught?
Well, I mean, there's some indications that there's a bit of room to negotiate with them, and it's worth doing so because, these issues matter so much to women. So, for example, on September 18th, they reopened schools only for boys, secondary schools, and not for girls. Since then, they have reopened at least some
How horrible
schools
is going on
in about
there?
5 provinces, and that seems to be a result of negotiations and pressure from the local community who want their daughters to study. So I think this is an indication that that there is some room to negotiate, and we'd like to see the international community trying harder to really push for more respect for rights.
I never imagine seeing the poor woman live in the most misogynistic nation. And guess what else? For liberals who care about Muslim women over there, don't give a fuck about them. These women were held captive over there, and they had to watch their own daughters to suffer out there walking the streets with a man and about being killed and beaten. And you're telling there are no such thing as good Trump supporters and the white wing person. We need to ban nationalism in this country. And you are also a privileged person. I just see you in the picture. I thought you want to make Alice's think that no, Muslims are not terrorists. And I understand. I have Muslim friends at my school, and I usually have a conversation with them, talk with them, and sometimes there are horrible stuff that countries just don't allow it. Whatever happened to gay people were being killed. Millions were being killed all day for being gay. Imagine you were going there and felt like we need to ban conservatism because the Americans only ones have it. And you don't even give a fuck about nobody. An ignorant is an ignorant. No matter how much timing and you care about it.
And they all deserve to live the rest of their lives to be a cellmate's girlfriend. And at that point, oh boy, I almost lost my train of thought, but that's the big thing that we have to do in order to fully learn this lesson, in order to make sure that this dictatorship, this fascist attack on the nation, to never have that again, you have to make this ideology illegal. We must
you want to make ideology illegal. And there are a lot of fascists that seeing Taliban just dictate women over there. And you felt saying that the Trump supporters, the conservatives, were only the fascist ones. And there are a lot of fascists in the Middle East. And there are a lot of fascists in Africa. And there are a bunch of fascists out there. Then you are, AniMat. Like I showed you in that video, when women's rights were being held accountable under a Taliban rule, just make you felt what is going on with us? Why in the fuck is going on with all of us? We talk about racism, police brutality all day, instead not talk about the women over there who are being held accountable over there, getting killed and being segregated and forcibly follow their man's footsteps. The same thing as Christianity and conservative Christianity, just allowing women, you should not, run on with a man, or and you force as a believer, forcibly called as a wife. Imagine, this is not the Handmaid's Tales. This is a reality showing that girls being murdered all day in the Middle East. That you are totally that mess you up fortune time. And that's the real reason people call your bullshit out. You're just as messed up than the people from the right and the left. I'm gonna continue to finish this video till the end. It's gone before I will go on there see this bullshit.
attack and silence hate speech. That's what we got. That's what we have to do right now. And if the police isn't going to do it, if the politicians aren't going to put any laws, then we must do so. We as citizens and we as people must go and call out these extremists. We must call out these Trump supporters. For anyone who has supported Donald Trump, they deserve to live the rest of their lives to be unemployed, to lose friends, to lose relationships, to have everything taken away from them so that they could end up being, well, ironically, these people, they love their capitalism so much, but now let's take them all down to the bottom of the barrel of capitalism where they've lived the rest of their lives in poverty and can only rely on food stamps in order to get any form of nourishment. And if they ever do hope to get back to where they were before, in order to be accepted into society again, then they must learn to go and silence their hatred. To silence their hatred on liberals. Their prejudice towards Democrats must be silenced. They must silence their support for Donald Trump. They must silence their nationalism. And that is the only way they could go and be accepted back into society. But otherwise, they should all be treated like criminals and have everything taken away from them until they learn. Seriously, it's just ridiculous what has happened, and it pisses me off to the core. And this is exactly why I talk about politics. What has happened over here, honestly, is something that I don't care who I am. I don't care who I end up turning off and they'll end up unsubscribing me. Because the thing is, calling out Trumpism, calling out to criminalize Trumpism and any form of nationalism is the right thing to do. This is why I talk about politics. Because there's clearly something wrong that is happening. And I don't care if I am Canadian. I know that even if I live in Canada and I am born in Canada, I am 1,000% more American than any Trump supporter out there because I do care about American values more than they do. So at this point, honestly, you can, hopefully you can understand why I talk about politics and why sometimes I have to take cartoons on the side to go and call out the evils in the real world because of how they can affect not only my life, but the lives of others as well. Because it is the right thing to do. And to criminalize Trumpism and to criminalize nationalism is the right thing to do at this point. And hopefully this will be something that will carry forward in 2021. Again, I know that a lot of social media websites are actually doing that, where they are silencing and criminalizing far-right hate speech. Hopefully there will be more, and especially, especially on YouTube, because no one should ever profit off of hate speech. No one should ever go and profit on far-right extremism, and no one should ever profit off of nationalism and Trumpism. Because honestly, calling all this out, it is the right thing to do. And I think that's pretty much all that I can say about this. I think I pretty much let everything out. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that it's it's kind of shocking and stuff, and I know we want to move on. It's just, this was honestly something that has been in me, and even just making a few tweets on social media is not enough. I just needed a moment to really let this all out. And honestly, I encourage you to do the same thing, because you have a voice as well. And if this angers you, then don't be afraid to actually get political. Don't be afraid of who you end up pissing off, or who you might end up losing in terms of relationships or friendships and stuff like that. If you have something to say about this, let it all out. Just unleash it. All right? Because you have a voice, and you have no idea how powerful that voice can be. And the more voices that can speak out against Trumpism and nationalism, the better it can be, so that we can be one step ahead in order to silence it, to mark it as dead, and to criminalize it for good, for the rest of our lives. So, oh boy, I know that's a lot, but yeah. Hopefully you do understand why you do understand.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Ignorant bullshit. Oh, look at the comments. Oh, wait, I'm gonna focus on more work, Taylor. I had to have a good stream and to talk it easily. Peace. Bye, Ruby. I'll see you in our stream. Yes. Oh, that motherfucker over there, just losing the shit out of it. I take the second video, and there's I found mostly. And welcome to Humanity Broadcast. Let's see, and this dumbass would get more cringeable there. Oh, we're in 2 hours, friends. Oh. And everyone get a comment in the comment section. Let's look at AniMat. Welcome to the New Age of Humanity. Yeah, tap too many tabs there.
That he won.
This is what you look like.
I am not going to talk about a subject that relates to animation, but instead, this is something that affects everybody, and not just in one country, but all around the world. And honestly, I feel very thankful that I have Filmbook, who would give me an opportunity to have something like this where I can freely speak my mind. And at this point, I feel like even though this is not something that a lot of people want to hear about and they want to be distracted with other subjects, I think it's still very important to go in depth of what's going to happen and know what to do at this point, because I can imagine there are many people out there, especially in the animation community, that feel so lost and they just don't know what to do with themselves. So at this point, I just want to go out and give a helping hand to see what I can do. Like, this is the best that I can try to offer. So the news is, unfortunately, as you guys may have heard, even though it was a very tight race, like it was absolutely neck to neck, America has apparently chosen Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States for the next 4 years, from 2017 up to 2021, or at least like when he'll officially be president. And even though, yes, half of the United States is pretty much happy that they elected, like they pretty much decided to let him be president, and they're happy that it actually worked out. But the other half of America and the rest of the world are pretty much in total shock that this actually happened. Like, I've never seen social media and people all around the world that are in complete fear over an event that happened in the United States since the 9/11 disaster.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Because here's the thing. I understand that Hillary Clinton is not necessarily a perfect candidate. Like, yeah, there have been a lot better ones, but the thing is with Hillary, she's just your typical bad politician. I mean, you know, that's just politics for you. But with Donald Trump, he has proven himself to be possibly the worst candidate that you can ever imagine. Like, this is a man who
truly outspoken himself to fully become this representative of all hatred in general. Like, this is a man who completely disrespects women, completely disrespects the disabled, an absolute racist, an absolute fascist, and someone who clearly is against the LGBT community. Like, this is a man who hates everybody that is not white, that...
And you're telling me that he hates, a disabled and a LGBT or women. Surprise. They're supporters who are diverse. I don't know.
That is not male, that is not in perfect condition with his body, that is not straight, and that is not, that's not rich. Like, and also, that is not Christian.
Never mind that. You know what? It doesn't make sense for him trying to be political or some crap. Well, great stream, everyone. So, it's time to end the video. In the next stream, we're going to talk about Disney's The Stepdad Backlash with Ruby King. Hey. Oh, good stream, people. Well, that's a great stream, everybody. And that was it. So, thanks for the streaming. So, I'll see you in the next stream. That's in case of all announcement. 3, 2, 1, bye. Bye-bye.